Hey, listen, you take somebody great and you put them around mediocre people, their greatness is going to go away. They're going to become mediocre. You take somebody mediocre and surround them around great people, they become great. You are who you hang around. You are what you do. You are your habits. And anybody who tell you otherwise is lying. I didn't become great until I surrounded myself around great people. I didn't work hard until I surrounded myself around people that work hard. Everybody that was okay with being mediocre and not working hard and sitting down and playing the game and talking about other people and doing all this kind of other stuff, I conformed to that when I was around. When I hung around the opposite people, I don't tolerate the same things I did when I was around those mediocre people. Great people don't talk about other people. Great people don't make excuses. Great people be great every single day in and day out, no matter how they feeling, no matter what's going on in life, because their only goal is to chase greatness and to be great. So listen, man, surround yourself around great people. Surround yourself around people who make good decisions, people with good habits, people with a good head on their shoulders, because even if you don't have that, hanging around them, you will develop that.
Good evening, YouTube family. Today is Monday, January the 13th, 2025. It's your man, Big D, and I'm back with another one. I would like to thank all of you good people that continue to show support and loyalty to my son and I. We appreciate it. Thank you. Family, I agree with this young man 100,000%. When he said that we are who we hang around, we are the environment we choose to align ourselves with. And what I mean by that is this: if you hanging out with people that don't have vision, they don't see anything further than getting a handout, perhaps from the government. They don't see the value in getting a job like being an electrician or plumber. They don't see the value in no careers. All they want to do is just do the bare minimum. And oftentimes we see these people in the guys that, we used to run with when we was younger. Some of them done time in prison. Some of them we played, little league football with. Some we went to high school with. And what I find that always also interesting is when it comes time for those class reunions. Every so many years, we attend our class reunion, and we, you see people who in your mind, you thought, man, that guy, that girl, they ain't gonna make it. And these people turn out to be successful people. We see people who was crowned the most likely to succeed, this and that, and they turned out to be bums. So I said all that to say this. Even back in those days, when I was coming up in high school, I knew the difference between what dudes to hang around and who not to hang around. Now, I'm going to keep it a buck. I used to hang around the boys that was out there on the corner, doing their thing. And I used to also hang around the football players. So I kind of had a spectrum of the two that I was aligned with back in those days. And I learned something from each one of those type of dudes I hung around. The dudes that was on the corner doing their thing, I learned things from them as far as being business minded, how a business should be structured, because whether you want to admit it or not, those of us that were once drug kingpins, listen, if they could have poured in that type of intellect and energy into perhaps a Tesla, man, they still be making money. But they chose to put their energy and their worth in something that was illegal. But at the end of it, you must be a shrewd businessman if you are going to be successful in the narcotics game. So I learned about business and how, you interact with your employees and so on and so forth. So I learned that from that perspective. But from the guys who were playing football, most football was all they had, because it was either college or the military. And everybody had dreams of going to the NFL. Everybody wanted to be that one. And we had a couple of guys who went to the NFL from our high school. But for those of us that perhaps did not make it to the NFL, but we had enough common sense to say, I don't want to be like Pookie over here and Lil Dane. I don't want to be like them because they done went up the road and life ain't worked out for them. So I had enough common sense to know I want to be like these boys over here where I ain't got to be looking behind my back. So at the end of it, you will become like the people you hang with. And that's fight. People you hang with, you will start becoming, you will take on some of their either negative energy or positive energies. You become like the 5 people you spend the most time with. The 5 people that you spend the most of your time with, they can shape and cultivate whether mediocrity will be a part of your life or will you choose to rise above that. You see, when we, you must align yourself with people that you can learn from. People who want more out of life and people that are searching and seeking some higher form of raising their consciousness. Because I'm of the belief if you work hard and you are shrewd with your finances and you make wise investments, anybody can be at a point of wealth. Now, I'm not going to guarantee and say you're going to be Elon Musk rich, but at least you'll be able to live comfortably. So we must, family, I'm telling you right now, there's nothing more important than what this young man said. Because my mama always had a saying, boy, I can tell a lot about a person, about the people they hang around, about the company they keep. And that just rings out, it rings out. And as I sit and think, man, when I got to a point where I wanted to rise above the BS, and I started aligning myself with people that were moving in positive directions, doing positive things, making a positive impact on life and society, that's when I felt my energy start to rise. But as long as I was with the mediocre people, the people that all they want to do was just hustle. All they want to do is just be out there, blowing bikes out, getting ass and all this. That was as far as they was willing to go. But I didn't want to be like those dudes because I always knew that there was something more that I could give, I could offer up. And I'm not going to sit up and say I'm perfect because none of us are perfect. And I will say the one that is the most perfect, you cast the first stone. So, family, we have to start looking at the fight of things and aligning ourselves with people that see the value in just sometimes doing the right thing. But most people, they won't go so far as that, family. They won't do it because most people are okay with being told lies. They so used to being told the stuff they want to hear instead of what they truly need. People will further be lied to and told they're doing a great job when they really suck. Because that's who we have become as a society. As a society, as black folk, there are some of us who seek to rise above the clouds and rise above hanging out with the mediocrity of life. But there are those of us, but for the majority of us, we okay with being dusty. But there are some of us who choose excellence. And when you start talking about, mediocre, you start talking about useless, worthless, just a bum, counterfeit, trashy, sleazy, junky, fake, fugazi. Here's the thing, family. If you want to rise above the mediocre mindset, change your environment, change the folk who you dealing with. But before you can even do that, you must first admit that you got a problem. And the problem is you got a spirit of mediocrity inside of you. And you must first command that spirit and say, you know what? I'm not going to submit to this BS because I know I can do better. So you need to be gone. Once you admit you got a problem and you face your problem square off in the face, nose to nose, that's when you're going to be relevant. That's when you truly going to be ready to elevate. Why do you think the eagle soars higher than any other bird? That's because the eagle, his intellect, his intestinal fortitude, just who he is as one of the top tier birds that flies in the sky. He knows no bounds. He knows no ends. And if it was not for the lack of oxygen, the eagle probably could soar to the outer stratosphere and into space. But because he needs oxygen, there's a limit to how he can fly. A blue jay can't do it. A dove certainly can't do it. A crane can't do it. A chicken can't do it. An ostrich can't do it. Because they wasn't designed to do it. Family, the fact of it is this. We got to first understand that no one likes to be told the truth because the truth is a bitter pill to swallow. And most times, the medicine that we need the most tastes the worst. Even though it's good for us, we don't want no parts of it. That's what the truth is like to some of us. Some of us will ward away from the truth like it's kryptonite. And that applies to men and women. It applies to men first and foremost because we came first and we should be the example. Now, I'm not saying when you come out your mother's womb, gentlemen, that you're going to have it all together. But at some point in life, you got to get it together. And when you get it together, you got to recognize, hey, I wasn't perfect. No one is. But once you know better, you start doing better. And to start doing better don't mean you're going to change the world overnight. But every little step towards righteousness counts. But it all starts with the dispelling of that mediocre mindset, that dusty mindset, that pookie mindset, that little dank mindset, that Tatiana mindset. Family, it's 2025. Now is the time. If not now, when? And if not when, well, what are we doing? Well, family, always remember, be more tomorrow than you were yesterday. Peace.